Okay. Masechta Bava Basra, Daf Kuf Sam Chalaf Amar Aleph, the third line from the top. Ula Rabbi Yirmiyah. Ula Yirmiyah Rabbi Abba. So what happened was there was a story that that there was this get kesher that came before Rebbe, and Rebbe didn't have a problem with the signatures. He only had a problem with this man. We said all the vital parts were in the fold, and they would make a fold and tie it. They would write and then leave one line empty, and that they would fold. In the fold, they would put in the Zman, the Chsima of the Eidim. Yeah, it was covered. So the Gemara said, if the Zman was there, if the Eidim was signed in there, so why didn't Rebbe have a question on the Zman, on the Eidim as well, just like the Zman? So obviously, the way they wrote it on top of the fold. On top of the, not yet, on top of the fold. That was one day. Then we had another day that said, no, they wrote it on the back, like you said, on the back of the get, wherever it was written, they had the signatures that covered the whole area of where the writing was. That was one shita. Another shita was, no, there was only writing on the bottom. And a signature on the bottom, and then they wrote the word Shadid V'kaimai. So Shadid V'kaim, that's it. That shows that you can't write any further. Right, and if you erase it, it won't be valid. The moment they see that in that area where Shadid V'kaim should have been written is erased, so then it will be unacceptable, even if he initialed it and he verified it means nothing. According to Rabbi Yirmiyah, that says that Eidim that are signed on the Get Mekusha is Ma'achir Aksav, is on the reverse side of the writing, meaning the writing was on one side and the signatures was on the opposite side of the document, on the back of that document. U'keneget Haksav Machutz, it corresponded, the whole writing, the signature was so enlarged, that's how we're looking at it, that it took over or there were three Eidim signed. Let's say there were 3 lines that were written that were the Toidav, the Ika of the Shtar. On each line, let's say there was 3 lines, on each line that was written, there was an 8 in the back of it. One line, a second 8 on the second line, and the third 8 on the third line. So it took over the whole document in the back. In fact, you want to leichus, let us be concerned. Maybe on the inside, he's going to add another line, a 4th line. He wants to write. He's not happy. He wants to write that he owes him. He borrowed another $10,000. In the document, the one that owns the document is going to try to make more money, so he's going to write another line, and he just took maybe another $10,000. So umachtim sada, you say. So he's going to need a 4th edus. Umachtim sada, you say, and he'll get a 4th aid to sign on the 4th line now. Omar. The Aman will say, I know that I wanted more Eidim because that this guy owes me the money. He wanted to make a tumult. So, but you should know you can't have less Eidim. It goes according to the folds. If usually Get Mekusha had 3 folds, you needed 3 Eidim. But even if it's 3 folds, you were allowed to add more than 3 Eidim. You just couldn't have less than 3 Eidim. You had to have an 8 against each fold. But if you had 3 folds and you want to add more than 3 8, you were allowed. So for example, if you were allowed, he could have added another line, a sheker. He could have said, and lately he just borrowed another $10,000, and you have the 4th 8 on the back, right over it, right behind it. And let's be concerned for this kind of shkarim. Amalei, misavas 8 kisilun chasimei. Do you think the 8 sign? Mamish parallel to the lines here. Lamasha, you see the lines? These lines, these highlighted lines, is on the other side, and the signatures is on each line, right? Do you think it was written this way? He says, no, it was written this way. Let's say there's 4 lines, so let's say vertically, the words were written vertically, and in the back of the star they wrote it horizontally. So they they covered all the lines, writing the name this way. Do you think do you think they wrote it corresponding in the same direction of what the words were written in the front of the star? They signed in the same direction? No. In the back, they wrote if the signature, if the wording of the star was written vertically. So, and there was 4 lines in the back of the star. They wrote it. They wrote the name horizontally, and it covered all the 4 lines. Let us be concerned that this person is the one who's holding on to the star doesn't like what's written on the bottom of the star. On the bottom of the star says extended time, that he has like 5 months to pay up the chayv. He doesn't like that, and he paid up partial of the chayv. He wants to get rid of it. He takes a scissor, he cuts the bottom. Says the Gemara, the guy's leila shita chayna. And remember, if he cuts the last line, because one shita says that the first 8 wrote from the bottom line up, and the next 8 wrote from the second line from the bottom up, the other 2 Eidim. So if you cut the last line, you're going to be cutting the word Reuven, right? Here it says Reuven ben, I'll read it, Reuven ben Yaakov 8. So if he cuts the last line, if he doesn't want to have the last line in the star, he's going to cut out the word Reuven. So if he cuts, no, but so the Gemara says if he cuts out the last line, because Reuven he's going to have to cut out the word Reuven, which is on the last line. It goes Reuven, and the next line goes Ben, and the next line goes Yaakov, and the next line goes 8. So if he cuts out the bottom line, he's going to lose Reuven. Says he wants this gefella because the guy is leila rumadei. Umiskasha will still be kasha because it will say in the hemshich of the name Ben Yaakov, and we know that's not. We learned in the Mishnah when it says Ben Ish Pliny is 8. Kasha is a kasha star. Even though you don't have his first name, what's the gefella? So what's the? So you see, he could falsify the star even when you write it this way, even when the name is signed horizontally and it's going on the other side, but going upward, not parallel to the way the words are written in front of the star. He says, it doesn't say only Reuven on this line. According to this sheet, it says, in this same line, it says Reuven and Ben. So when you cross out, you cut out the last line, you're crossing out Reuven together with the word Ben. So all you're going to have is Yaakov 8. So maybe it's not good. So he says, Reuven ben Bechad Dora, but Yaakov 8 Ilave. And on the next line it says Yaakov and 8. So if he cuts out the last line, he's only going to be left with Yaakov 8. So there won't be falsified. Reuven, right. So he says, let us be concerned. Dilma guys Leila Reuven Bain. But says yeah, okay, Yaakov 8 is still not bad. Let us worry that he'll cut out the last line, and the word Reuven Ben will be cut out, and it'll only be left with Yaakov 8. Umiskasha, it's still kasha. But Yaakov 8, Yaakov 8 is still a kasha star. It's not that we learned in the Mishnah. State Ish 28. If it says Yaakov 8, it's a kasha star, kasha. Even though it doesn't say the name of his father, and we'll think it's Yaakov's name. So we won't know that it was Ben or Yaakov was the father. We'll say Yaakov was the 8. Says the Gemara, the loik siv 8. By the Gemara, one answer is when it comes to get mekusha, we don't write the word 8. So you're only going to remain with the word Yaakov. Yaakov is nishkin kasher star. Because in the get mekusha, we don't write the word 8. If it would say Yaakov 8, then it's good. But if in the get mekusha we don't even write the word 8, it just says Yaakov, then we got a problem because it's not going to be a kasher star. It just says Yaakov. Be by Yisema.
I can't hear what you're saying.
Be by Yisema. If you want, I can tell you another answer. The Olam the Kosave. Really, he wrote the word 8. In the get mekusha we write 8. The Yad Inam Ba the Hach Simes Yada. But we only recognize Reuven, and it's not Yaakov. Lav the Yaakov. Everybody knows this Sina doesn't belong to Yaakov. And you wrote Yaakov 8, and everybody knows it cannot be Yaakov 8. Because the Sina they recognize as Reuven. In fact, you're not good, I hear you. But the Dilma, Bishmei, the Avua, Chasam. Maybe Taka wrote, he signed, but he signed Yaakov. And the reason why he signed in the name of his father, it's covered. He wanted to give cover to his father. So he wouldn't sign his name, he would sign his father's name. As if by the Iranian, they always say it's my father's business. They know it's not their business. It's the Tatas. The ganze almost the Tata. So here he wants to sign. Huh?
Same like you, your father.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. So it's the father. Everything is the father. So your mother loy shama inish mishmei the day. V'chasim mishmei davu. A person doesn't leave go his name and sign by his father's name. He says it's das nicht kein Weg. And it's not a covet. He holds a philosophical covet. In fact, your mother, okay, I hear you that he's not doing ifzu to give the covet to his father. But in fact, your mother, maybe he wrote it as a simon. People write a scribble. Nobody writes the name. They write a scribble. And the scribble came out to Yaakov as a simon. Where do we see that people make simonim and don't write their name? The Rav, Tzaya Kavra, Rav, when he would sign, he wouldn't sign his name. It was a picture of a fish. That was his signature.
We had this before. So
Yes. Rav Chanina, Tzia Charusa. Rav Chanina would make a picture of a date tree, or a branch of a date tree. Onav Shaldakel. Yeah, that's him. Rav Chizda, because his name had a Samach, he writes Samach, finish it. That's my name. Samach. Hishaya, who had an ayin, he write ayin. Rava Bar Rav Huna Machusa. Rav Bar Huna would put, in a sailboat, the sail, the picture. It's called a mast. What do you call that? That gears the sailboat, the mast. He had a picture of a mast. So the Gemara loy chotzev inish l'shavit l'shnei davu. Nevertheless, the Gemara says a person wouldn't make a siman that his father's name should be the siman. A person doesn't have the chutzpah to do that. So therefore, we can't say that it was Yaakov, that he wrote Yaakov as his signature, because cover of the father, that's Nishkin covered. As a siman also not, as a scribble, and it came out Yaakov also not, because a person doesn't, it's Nishkin, a symbol of covered. Mazuta Amar, the Gemara gives another answer. Lama lach kuli hai. Why do I need all these terutzim? You can say kol mekusha shein eidov vekol meshita achas pasel. Any mekusha de keshtar, that the eidin don't end, meaning at the bottom line is going to be a pasel shtar, and therefore we're not concerned. And we said all the chsimes. All he said that you couldn't have one signature like we had before. One signature started from the bottom line, and the two signatures started from the second line from the bottom. He doesn't learn that way. He says all signatures had to start from the bottom line. All of them. So if you cut out the bottom line, all three Adam's names will be missing. Oh, then everybody will say, hey, something's fishy. If he cut out the bottom line and all the first names are missing, right away we'll know that he's not going to cut it, because he knows it. The people will realize right away. That's where we end. Anyway, we'll talk about the inyan of fish. Why did Av do it? Why did Av give a simon of a fish? So the Ashbam says because he liked fish. So the Chacham Shleima said it doesn't make sense. He liked fish. That's a selfish thing. Chacham Shleima says it was because of Einik Shabbos. Einik Shabbos, the fish is Einik from Einik Shabbos. For us, Asman, fish from I'll say Einik Shabbos because it corresponds to the Leviyasin that we'll have in the future. So that does say Stam Esem fish. Yes, very good. That's another piddush. I saw that today. And we eat fish to be miled. He said that there's a piddush that say that the Gilgal of the Shabbos of Tzaddikim, a lot of them turn into fish in the next Gilgal. To be miled in the Shabbos, we eat the fish by making a bracha. We're miled. So that's why he has the fish stall. So Al Tzaruch is the Kenyan, Nishkin Gashm is the Kenyan.